Hello, this is Sibyl Harmony, and this is your update on how to deal spiritually with what's going on in the world. Row and power grabs, and really, it's my guides told me that things will be better in November, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I was like, "Oh, okay, the elections, the elections." Okay, so somebody asked a question about will there be a nuclear bomb? And so this is a bigger story about everything that's going on with politics on our planet now and how we're being protected by the council, guides, light beings that watch over us, angels, ascended masters, star seeds. The council, well, we're created from God or goddess. God is probably more like a woman than a man because she's very creative. She created us, and we are all her children. We are all the children of the light. And we came here to earth to experience this beautiful, beautiful planet with our beautiful bodies and life. And what happened is it's like, well, I don't know too how involved I'm going to get in the story here, but they're watching over us and keeping us safe from a nuclear bomb. Because if a nuclear bomb were to go off, it wouldn't be good. Sorry, I dropped my pendulum here. It wouldn't be good for the universe because it affects them. It affects all planets and dimensions. And so this happened in Atlantis when they started messing with the grid that is around our planet, the atmosphere, and certain groups of people, which are still here now. So there are certain darker beings that don't want love and light to prevail. That might be the people who call themselves pro-life. They're actually not. They're actually against life because they're the same beings that are polluting the planet, promoting racism, promoting lack, and they're showing up in a very small percent of the population that has kind of brainwashed or programmed a lot of people to think that their way is the right way. There you have Fox News, the Republicans against, polluting the big oil companies, the small percent of wealthy people that want to control women's bodies, that want to control everything that happens, that want to make America not great. So it's more like MAGA, M-A. So I look at things symbolically in words. So M-A-G-A, MAGA is Ma gone away. It's not promoting women. And so why are those people doing that? Well, that's a whole nother story that I may not have time to get in here. But we are being supported and helped by these beings of light, these angels, guides, the council, whatever you want to call them, and a lot of healers, shamans, new age, the awakening people, because it is about becoming more of who we are, regaining our psychic abilities, our intuition, and our and waking up, which is actually using more of our brains and being self-determining and being a planet protecting and promoting health and life here on the planet. So these beings that are here protecting us, they gave me some other messages, but I just wanted somebody asked a question about will there be a nuclear explosion. They will do everything they can to stop that or to quail that or to make that less so that doesn't happen, because like I said, it affects the grid, it affects that's around the atmosphere, that's you could call it if you're looking at more in a physical way, that's around our planet. And when they blew it up or started messing with the power grid and trying to be greedy and get all the power in Atlantis, that's why Atlantis was destroyed and flooded, because that could not continue. Okay, so there are things that they can do to stop to intervene when it's life or death, but basically it's up to us. It's up to us here to create the world, because that's why we're here, creating a world that we want to live in. And that involves living in harmony with the living spirit, Mother Earth. We are living on a living planet that supports us. And so big oil, we've had the technology to have energy, and that's been suppressed. And that's been going on for a long time. Now, I'm not against technology, but like I said, there's technology that can work in harmony with the planet. They are against voting rights because they don't want the people, because they're more of us than them. So they don't want the people. So government buying for the people. So America is the closest thing we've ever come to creating a more perfect union. Well, there are some countries that are doing pretty good, that are kind of feminine based and more non-violent. We have a lot of violence here in America, and we're very divided because they've gotten onto the news cycles and social media and promoted. Like, I remember talking to this guy at a party 4 or 5 years ago, and he was saying, I listened to some videos about climate change, and it all seemed to make sense to me. You guys are just making all this stuff up. There's no climate change. So they program people. So most people are not bad, evil people, but they program them with fear. Like, there isn't enough money. The migrants are coming to get your job. Well, we actually need migrants. Unfortunately, they clean our houses and pick the food. So I don't think you want to have that job. They don't. Most white Americans or native born, or even African Americans don't want to have that job. So I mean, it's unfortunate that they can. I hope they have other jobs. I'm not saying that that's the jobs they should migrants should have, but it could. So anyway, I'm for a society where everybody's included, but I'm not going to get into that either. I just wanted to be clear about that. So I'm for a society where anybody can create whatever they want, or doing a job that they love. And I actually had a dream about that. In 2012, I had a dream that it was about 850 years from now, and we had created a world that was living in harmony. There wasn't actually any money. Everybody just contributed that could, and everyone shared. And some people lived in the hills, and some people lived in the flat areas, but it was very respectful and community-based. In other words, people had ethics and cared about each other, and the world was living in harmony. And that's the way it was meant to be here. So, so why was I getting into that? So we can create that. I'm not against having money or anything, because right now we live in a physical world, so we can create financial well-being for ourselves until the system changes. But it's just, I work with so many people who come to me and say, I have a job, but I have health insurance, or I want my 401k or my pension, and I have to stay at this job that I hate. And that's a shame. So we are meant to have a world that's more in balance and harmony. And for whatever reason, a lot of people are programmed by these very small percent of people, because they're on the airwaves, they're on this, like I said, on the social media, and promoting all these ideas like racism, controlling women's bodies, well, we can't afford to pay, companies can't afford to pay you a fair wage, not having health coverage. So we've made some progress. And I'm not saying Democrats are all perfect, because I would like, really, are you going to stand up and do something now? So we have lobbyists that pay off our senators and our congresspeople. I love like Katie Porter. She's a smart lady and she's not getting paid off. So we need politicians in there who are actually going to work for the people. Like, what is the Supreme Court? I'm not really like, okay, it's not supposed to be political, but it's telling everybody how to live, and it's getting donations from the 1%, from these big organizations that are trying to, hurt the environment and now control women's lives, and put you in jail if you have an abortion. If you don't want to plan a family, you're going to have 20 kids. And then maybe your husband or your doctor, whoever helped you, they can go to jail too. So, and take away contraception. So they want this because they're creating they want to have, unfortunately, like a working class slave. That's what used to be here. So what I'm saying is these lower energies cannot win, and it's up to us, because we have free will, to get out and vote, to go march peacefully and to get out and vote. That's how we change this. And if you think it doesn't affect you, or you're too busy with your life, think about how much you're being paid. Do you have health insurance? How much you're paying for gas in your car? Oh, that's not the Biden making the gas prices go up. There's price gouging. And the oil companies do that, and some greedy companies do that, and then everybody's doing it. So actually, I'm getting that the economy is going to be okay. I'm hearing that there are lawsuits against the oil companies for price gouging, and there should be lawsuits, and I think there will be, let's look at the cards, lawsuits coming up for the oil companies for destroying the planet, for destroying our health and the future for our children. Are there going to be lawsuits for oil companies? Yeah, but it's sad. That's not something to celebrate, because look at all the loss and grief that they've created. I mean, I do feel like there will be, but there's been so much damage done. How can they ever fix what they did? It's just, people don't realize a lot of illness and, the fires and the floods and stuff, they've already caused so much damage. And just our energy and the air, our energy comes from the air we breathe, and we're pumping fossil fuels into the air every day on this planet. So it's just, so we have free will. We're here to learn. They're watching over us. They're not going to let a nuclear bomb happen. The Supreme Court, shouldn't it be government by and for the people? Like, if most of the people don't want certain things, they're going to get in there, because they were snuck, because Trump snuck two people in there. McConnell wouldn't hold an election because he said it's an election year for Obama. And then they snuck Amy Coney Barrett in the last 2 weeks of an election. So, it's just, they don't play by the rules. And so we have free will. So are we going to stand up? Are we going to vote? Because if you look at the predictions of Nostradamus, so Nostradamus was giving us worst possible scenarios in his predictions, his quatrains. I think that's what you call them. So there's been, I've read books about, Native Americans and Sylvia Brown, Edgar Cayce, Nostradamus, predicting events in the future that were not good. So what happens is, when you have an event that's happening sooner, it's easier to predict how it's going to go. So you can look at a particular current issue and look at, okay, looks like your guides are telling you, okay, this is going to happen, okay. But when you're looking at long-term future events of the planet, there's still free will. There's still like, we're at a crossroads. Like, are we going to go this way with the, saving the planet, women's rights, not racism, equality, equal pay, and taking care of our people? Are we going to go this way? We're at a crossroads to destroying the planet and having 1% have all the money and everybody else suffering, which is, so these two factions are fighting. So there is different options, and like, we have dodged the bullet, and the beings of light have been helping us, because actually things could have been worse before now. Actually, they helped us in World War II, and they're helping us now, but they can only intervene so much. And so I applaud all the readers and the light workers and the healers and the positive thinkers and the tappers and the Reiki people and the Democrats and the do-gooders and the initiates, which are out serving food and helping the poor and helping with the war in Ukraine. That's another thing. They like war because they can give a lot of money to defense contractors, and they like killing people and destroying hope, and getting control in any means possible. So they're also doing the war in Ukraine. So it's all part of it. And that has a lot to do with oil, because you see, Russia was supplying oil, and they give nasty oil. I've stopped going to some gas stations, can I say that have Russian oil. Like, I think it's Shell. I've noticed that the oil is, well, it kind of shifted. But at first, when I stopped going, can I say that? Well, Russia has nasty gas. They're not, Putin, that guy is really a dark energy. And he has a lot to do with dictatorships and polluting the planet and hate and violence and gun violence and against women. And so, so if that explains a little bit about why we are not going to be attacked with a nuclear bomb, but we've got to take this road. Now, there are variations of how and when we get there. I had a prophetic dream that the world is good and beautiful and loving and in balance 850 years from now. That does not mean that will happen. I tend to be more on the positive side. I've heard readers and stuff say that, it's over. We're going to all be, Earth is going to be destroyed and we're wrecking. And scientists look at, and they're looking at, if we stay on the path that we are, probably the worst thing is global. So I got, connecting with nature, okay? Your finances. My guides tell me the economy is going to be okay. Like, we have to stop being OCDC about, the price of gas. So if you start getting angry about financial things, it does not. The 1% knows that. They're sitting there in luxury and they can afford to have good vibes and be pulling in money. And then you're over here going, the price of gas, the price of food, everything's getting crazy. Well, there are some people like my governor, Newsom, in California, is thinking about giving everybody a $400 check, which is a little bit for gas prices. It's not, for everything. But they're thinking of doing things here. And what's your governor doing? So, like, instead of blaming Biden, and a lot of news people and even big news starts to go against Biden because, he's too old and stuff. Well, he's trying to do stuff for the environment. He's trying to do some good stuff, and he's been blocked. And some big corporations and some lobbyists and 1%ers have been paid off, and so they're not reporting that price gouging is going on, and the Justice Department, I'm pretty sure, is starting to lawsuits against gas and oil companies that are price gouging, and certain senators that are actually doing something. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Katie Porter, people who are actually doing something. Katie Porter's a congresswoman. There must be more. I just haven't heard of everybody. But I mean, everybody has their part. Some people are doing January 6th, which is also democracy, keeping us from going into an autocracy. So all of it's important. But that's why they don't want you waking up. So if you get stressed out about money, it makes it worse. So you have to ignore the bad and focus on what you want to create. Focus on what's happening good too. So there are lots of young people, and the young people are going to save us, and they're coming in and doing amazing things. And they're not going to put up with this losing women's rights and outlawing, family planning and locking people up for not wanting to, be baby breeders, So financial healing. So wages are going to go up. There's a lot of stuff that's happening behind the scenes that maybe you can't see. And I think after November, if the Democrats actually do something and take the House back, which it looks like we're on that path, not that path, or something in between. So it depends on what we do, and we can create, because I know a lot of people who are making more money, taking vacations, buying properties. So everybody's not doing bad, but I mean, like, what do I care? What do I care what people do? I'm in California, we have abortion. Why should I care? Because it matters. Because we're all in this together. And we are our brother's keeper. We are our, as one is treated, so we all are. So we need to care about people who are really struggling, and the homeless. Like in my city where I'm living, they have a big, beautiful homeless center for people. And then they're building another apartment, and there are laws being passed to help finance, taking care of homeless. And that needs to be done in, the Fox News rails against, they're lawless and they're homeless. Well, they want guns, and they don't want to give anybody build back better or help with childcare or housing or anything like that. They vote against that and then point the finger. Oh, see, those big cities. Well, because there's a bigger population. That's where, homeless people go to. And just, so, are you pro-life? What is that? Are you for daycare cost, health care for infants, prenatal care, SNAP programs, which are actually giving people like cheese or something? Like, are you for organic vegetable farms coming up, and schooling and education and helping people to plan their families? That's life. That's being pro-life. There's no, I want to, like, don't ever tell me you're pro-life, because pro-life is actually pro-death. It's not pro-life. Pro-choice is like, yeah, okay, you could have a choice. You want people to have a choice whether to have a family or not have a family. But that pro-life thing, so it's time for us to decide what we want. Like, maybe instead of going to a club or nightclub or doing a sideshow, like, go have a peaceful demonstration. Like, what is it? I mean, our personal lives are important. I understand that. And we don't want to tell people what to do. But also your prayers and your actions, your meditation. When you meditate, you awaken. You use more of your brain. You extend your life. You retard aging. You actually clean toxins, negative energy out of towns and cities. Like, there was a study where a group of people went to Washington, D.C. and meditated for 2 weeks, and the crime rate went down. So that's why they keep saying, oh, the woke population. Well, when you wake up, you shift that energy, okay? You can call in, with your energy, a better environment, a better energy, and then take action. And so that is my video for today. Hope you like that. And hopefully that was helpful. And we can feel better, because We are spirit here incarnate in body, and you're doing such a good job. Sometimes just being here and up is part of uploading the vibration, especially for a lot of earth angels, people who are incarnate, and it may feel like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Just by being here in your vibration is helping to repair the grid around our planet. And vote. Take care.